Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark, and joining me as always is my fearless co-host,
Mr. Matt Snyder.
Mr. Matt Snyder.
Feels good to be back.
Oh, it feels great to be back.
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle. You know what I just realized?
What?
You are not sporting your Renatus garb. Mon ami. What is up with that?
I have no excuses. None, because I have a ton of those shirts too.
I'm a little embarrassed for you right now.
I bought when the Renatus store was up. I bought literally like every shirt that there was there.
Yeah.
And hats and everything. I have it all, right? Like,
yeah.
It was like $300 and something of just apparel. Like the moment that I'm dead
as soon
serious.
as it becomes available,
it was like
you're
$350 or something I'd spent on the Renatus gear. And then anyway, so I have no excuse. I don't know. Next time I'm gonna wear Renatus swag for next time.
Well, hey, I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Carrie Skirdler, who's joined us on the line. It's good to see you here.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was so great to be able to see you and your wonderful husband Mike at the national conference, which
sure
was amazing. We'll get to that in just a moment. But was incredible. I do need to let all of our thousands of fans across the country know that even though today's broadcast says that we're bringing out Krista Crook, she is not going to be here. So one of my very favorite Canadians will not be on the line with us today.
Bummer, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was really funny because today we were talking a little bit about the national conference, and she said these words together. And I don't know that I can do it all Canadian justice the way that it should be done, but she said the words swag and bag together. And it was hilarious because the way she said it was swag big.
Yeah,
swag big.
Swag big.
I can't even say it right. But, man,
it was awesome.
So
we had fun with that.
We did a little bit with our swag bigs.
Yeah.
So anyway, Krista Crook will not be on the call with us today.
Too bad. We need to get her out here.
We had her out here a couple of weeks ago, remember?
I know, but we should do it again.
We should do it again. It was a good call.
It was fun hanging out with her.
It's always a good time hanging out with Krista.
Yeah.
So we took the week off. We took 1 week off, or two. We took 2 weeks off.
No, yeah, we
took two
weeks full off. Weeks, maybe 3. Because
it's only been 2.
We didn't do it the week of the national, and then last week we didn't do it because
we didn't.
You were out, and so
I was out.
Yeah, what were you doing?
You know what? I took a vacation.
What?
I did. I decided that I was not done punishing myself, and I took my entire family down to Florida, and we did the Disney Universal
red eye.
Right
after the national.
Yeah.
We're all exhausted, and I was just like, Jay, what are you doing? But you did it.
Catching a red eye to Florida, baby.
You did it. I mean, if James Lawrence can run all those triathlons, right? Yeah. You can just, right?
Yeah, those two things are comparable, I'm sure.
I don't know, man. I feel you. I think after prepping for the national, doing the national, and then taking off immediately after the national on a red-eye flight to go for play all those days.
You know what?
You're got to be exhausted, right?
I have to give my wife huge props because she was completing her bachelor's degree, which she's now done.
Yay!
Super excited about that.
Really
She's done with her bachelor's degree. Yeah. She finished it up the week before nationals. She planned this trip. All of the different moving parts. We took our kids, so I've got 6 kids, so me and my wife and our 6 kids went to Florida, which is across the country for us, for 10 days.
Yep.
And she planned the entire thing, including what we were doing every single day. And then she volunteered to be the photographer for us at the national conference again.
Yeah.
And so she spent every waking moment at the national with me, with us.
Yep.
And then turned around and we were able to go and have this incredible experience with our kids. So it was amazing.
Well, I gotta give you a big shout out because the national wouldn't have happened without you, right? People don't realize or understand how much goes into it and why it's 12, 14, 16 hours a day before and during the national, right? But there's so much. that goes on that people don't see, don't understand, don't realize, stuff that needs to be set up, stuff that needs to be organized, and all of that was in large part to you. Obviously, the team did a lot, and we're very grateful. But
we had a great
you organized
team.
the whole thing.
We did have a great team that pulled together and was able to accomplish so much. And I tell you what, one of the things that became very clear to me is that the home team strives to embody the mission of Renatus, which is to empower one another with the tools, systems, and support to go out there and create their own success. And that includes inside of the company as well.
Yeah.
And so by watching an empowered employee go forward and move through their responsibilities, it literally made the entire national conference possible.
Oh yeah, and I mean, we got to hand it to everybody who attended too. That event, the vibration, the energy, everything that went along with that event. There was just so much positivity and excitement, and it was everything I had hoped for, and so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to have it over with because it was a lot of work.
It was a ton of work.
But it was so cool.
Ton of work.
So much
fun.
So
before we get full-blown into the National, because that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on talking about the National, kind of recapping some of the things that came out of the National
Oh, you brought
conference.
notes, huh?
Oh, I brought all the notes.
You know what? I had a request for your notes.
I had somebody ask me that too.
Yeah.
And first of all, my handwriting rivals most doctors.
Maybe we had to type it up, right? I mean, I can try and type it up and see. You know what I mean?
I told a couple of people that I would try to write an email. So put together my notes in an email format.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then send it out to all of the people that attended the Nationals.
That would be cool.
Because, I pride myself on being able to take effective notes that help to incite action in my life. Right?
Yep.
Giving me talking points and takeaways from what people are training, and then looking for the application of that training.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's funny. I did get asked once or twice if people could have a copy of my notes. I had one gentleman actually take a picture of my notes.
That's awesome.
And I felt kind of bad. I was like, dude, good luck trying to understand that.
It was good. Like you getting up there and recapping each speaker. It was cool to see what you got out of it, especially because sometimes it was different than what I got out of it. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that thing or whatever. There was a couple of times that happened.
And that's why I love not only being able to get up there and share some of my thoughts and insights, but then also open it up to the crowd a little bit. And what did you take away?
Yeah.
What did you hear, learn, and think? I loved it.
You're a good MC.
So much.
Jay, you're a good MC, man.
I love it. I love what we do.
Yeah. Well, it shows, and it shows you're having fun, and it's just, it was cool. So you did a good job as MC.
Thank you.
So
I did have one person tell me that I needed to burn my pants. They're like, your pants are so ugly. You need to take them out back and set them on fire.
Was that your wife? Did she say that? I can only imagine. That's like the only person. It was
not my wife.
It was not your wife. It was Woody Woodward.
It was not Woody either. I don't think Woody's ever looked at my pants. But anyway,
never ventured down that.
It was pretty funny what some of the feedback that I got was, But almost all of it was incredibly positive.
What pants? Now you got me curious.
It's just the gray pants I was wearing. They were just like, those pants didn't do you any favors. You need to take them out back and burn them. And I'm like,
really?
Well, okay, thank you for your feedback on my pants that I did not solicit from you in any way, shape, or form. But
that's fun.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Really interesting.
I love it.
But so heading down to Florida, I got sick.
Yeah. Yeah. As we all do after the Nationals, because you go so hard so long, and then
you don't give your body any downtime, and so as soon as you start to relax, you just
kapow
every time.
Yep, I got hit with it too,
and it was pretty interesting. I had this really aha moment, which was I woke up sick on Monday, and I didn't actually wake up. I started to feel sick on Monday, and then I woke up sick on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I woke up grateful to be sick on Tuesday.
And not on Thursday the previous week.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I am so thankful that I got sick now as opposed to getting sick before the National.
Precisely.
So
precisely the thought that I had, because it was, I think, Monday after the National.
Yeah.
I got sick, and I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Right?
Thank goodness this is now.
Right? that's such an interesting experience to have, to be grateful to get sick.
Well, it's the timing. I don't think I've ever been grateful to be sick, but yeah, the timing was good.
Well, okay, here you go. Here's a life lesson, right?
Yeah.
Our bodies get stronger as they overcome sickness, right? You build up antibodies and immunities to different...
you would have T cells and B cells that would...
Right.
Immune cells that would remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
So life lesson is that oftentimes as we overcome our challenges is how we become stronger.
Yeah.
That we take with us the strength that we've learned through the experience, but then also the wisdoms that we've gained and are now able to apply that moving forward in our lives. And so just like the national conference, just like any time that we struggle or go through a difficult situation, it's now our opportunity to move forward in a powerful way with that experience now at our side.
Yeah. The only way to build muscle is to tear it down.
Yep.
And then let it rebuild.
Yeah.
And so I've seen that's a kind of a metaphor for everything you go through. I would hope that everything, it might not be everything, but you got to look at it. If you went through a tough thing and you didn't harness it for the better, you got to look at how you can. Because generally what I think that falls on is my dad always says life will either sharpen you up or grind you down.
Yes.
Choice is yours.
Yep.
And it's true.
And it's all about what you do with the knowledge that you gain.
Yeah, and so, you go through tough stuff and you become more resilient. You become tougher. You know how to adapt and overcome. And
right.
So
I feel like that's the definition, the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is you learn a thing. Wisdom is you learn how to apply that thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that. The phone's buzzing.
Oh, anyway,
but yeah, that's exactly the way it should be.
Right. Felt really grateful that I got sick after the national conference, and then really grateful that I got to spend 10 days with my kids down in Florida.
Oh yeah, yeah. How many times are you going to get that opportunity?
This is the first time we've done it. The reason why we took a red eye is because when you have 8 people on one flight, it gets kind of spendy. So
yeah, 8 plane tickets. I mean, anytime you go somewhere, you're buying 8 plane tickets.
Right.
That ain't cheap.
No, it's really not. But my kids, experience of a lifetime for them. They had an absolute blast. We had so much fun. We went to all of the different amusement parks down there, but then we also spent a day at Cape Canaveral. We went out to Clearwater. Is it Clearwater?
Yeah, Clearwater.
Clearwater
Florida.
Bleach.
Yeah.
Bleach. Clearwater Bleach.
That's why the water's so clear.
There you go.
They bleach it.
No, we went out to Clearwater, and that was, I got to tell you, for any of you Floridians, that is the softest sand I have ever felt in my entire life. It felt like, that kinetic sand you can play with?
Yeah.
It felt like that. It was like this
that is cool.
powdery, it didn't feel like a coarse sand. It felt like you were walking in powder.
Huh.
And it was cool.
That is cool. Florida's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I love it down there. There's a lot of states on that Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
And, just the swampy bayou I just find fascinating. And
yep, it was incredible.
But Florida's just the sunshine.
But
it's wonderful.
My 9-year-old daughter walked up to me, and this was probably, that's probably Thursday last week.
Yeah.
And I had gone down there. I'd shaved on Tuesday, and then by Thursday I needed to shave again. And she goes, Dad, will you just let it grow right now? Just it's about to get soft.
Yeah.
And then every day she would come up and she would feel my face and she'd be like, it's getting
I'm with
soft.
her. I think you should
soft.
let it grow.
Let it grow.
Let
Nice.
it grow. You can tell we have kids.
Man, yes we do. And I just spent time down in Disney, so it's it's all right here, top of mind.
You did.
All right, so we got Mr. Nicholas Hiller on the line with us as well. What's going on, my friend? It was so good to see you at the national conference and get to spend some time with you. In fact, Matt and I took a picture with Mr. Hiller.
Yes, we did.
Because we were so excited.
We did.
I bet I got it right here on my phone.
I got another picture with him too. But this reminds me. I was supposed to tell you to check your Facebook message.
Oh man,
I don't get in there very often either. So
I have been so disconnected
I
from
do too.
Facebook, from email, from all of it that I apologize if anyone has sent me anything and we're expecting a response.
Yeah,
there it is, right there. Boom.
Nice.
I don't know how well you can see that on the video.
I love it.
But that's us and Mr. Hiller at the national conference. It was a good time, man. It was awesome.
That camera right there.
Yeah, that camera right there. I think
That
was actually coming through pretty good.
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
It was fun to get to meet him face to face.
Yeah, buddy. Awesome.
I enjoyed that.
All right, so
and it was cool to hear his story because I got to hear the lowdown on.
Did you?
Yeah, I'll have to tell you later.
All right.
He quit his job and all the
maybe
lowdown and all that, how that happened.
Maybe we should bring Mr. Hiller out here on the J.A.M. sometime.
I think it'd be fun.
I think that'd be way fun.
A good time.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So here's the deal. Let's go over some of the national conference. Now,
Okay.
It was 3 incredible days, and they were just packed with training after life-changing training, just amazing content over the course of those 3 days. So I don't know exactly how we're going to go through some of this information.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
there's a lot.
Oh, there's a ton. Let's just start by talking a little bit about the Real Estate Walk of Fame.
Well, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Because I expected it to be incredible, right?
Yeah.
But it was even more incredible than I expected. It was like the whole room ended up.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so if you don't know what the Real Estate Walk of Fame is, it's anybody who's earned. Or am I getting that wrong with the real estate?
Yeah, the Real Estate Walk of Fame is anybody who's completed
done a deal.
real estate
Yes,
transaction.
That's right. So, so anybody who's done a real estate transaction, thanks to Renatus, is getting up there and talking about it. And I legit bet that we had 500 people. I don't know.
I don't
4
know.
or something.
We could go through
maybe?
and count.
We should.
We had
hundreds,
probably half of the room at least
hundreds of people
stand up
that got up and were
and got into a line, and the line went from the stage. And I can't say it was single file because people were kind of clumped up, but it was all the way back to the middle back of the room. So we literally took almost half the room.
Just wrapping around
and then
the exterior of
anytime
the room
that the line would start to go down, it would build up again.
Yeah.
More people would get into the
because they would get up because they
they
were waiting.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I'm not going to stand here for the next
half an hour.
It ended up that literally getting up, answering the 4 questions. What's your name? How long have you been with Renatus? Or no, what's your name? Where are you from? How long have you been with Renatus? How many deals? Mm-hmm. They answered those 4 questions. So literally every single person's up there for 10 to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And
if that.
And it took us 45 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour to get through the entire line.
It was like an hour because we went over on time. I don't remember exactly, but it was we had like a 45-minute block for it, and we went over on time. And so, it was really cool to see how many people have done deals thanks to Renatus and getting educated. That was really cool and empowering for me to see.
I loved hearing those people that are like, been with Renatus for 3 months, and I'm on my first transaction.
Yeah. And there were a few in there that it was like, I'm on my 47th. And I'm like, holy crap.
Steve Nomura gets up there and he's like, I'm on 207.
Oh,
yeah.
It was some insane number. But
it was crazy.
People are at it.
Super crazy.
They're doing the work. That's fun to see.
It is way cool to see the changes that people have made in their lives with the Renatus education.
Yeah, we've really, I'm seeing a real palpable, real life thing happen for people.
Yeah.
As a result, and that's what gets me, man. That's what gets me. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I just realized, it just barely dawned on me that the very first Renatus J.A.M. that we did was recapping the 2020 National Conference.
No way. So we've been at this for 2 years.
2 years.
Wow. Huh. Well, that's awesome.
Just kind of dawned on me. That's kind of
cool
crazy.
Stuff. That's
man. Hey,
2 years.
Happy anniversary,
right? No kidding. It's cool. So what else? What else did we have?
Well, so
like after
after them, we had Zach and Samari came out.
Yeah.
And they had an incredible training. And we'll talk a little bit more about Zach and Samari here in just a minute. We had Johnny D on the first day.
Yeah.
We had Krista Crook come out on the first day. We had you come out on the first day.
Yep.
And talk about billing and why billing and the different funding options for the Renatus education and kind of where billing falls into all of that.
That's right.
How long do you think it took you to prepare for your presentation?
Way too long.
Give me just rough guess.
Way longer than last year's, even though I had the same time chunk. I don't know. This one was embarrassing how long it took to put together, just because it was just trying to figure out like, scrap that. I'm gonna scrap that, and I don't know, man. Like I bet I spent 30 hours probably on that half an hour. Isn't that
30
insane?
hours to prepare for a 30-minute presentation.
It was insane. I mean, that's not like last year was probably like 15 hours for the 30 minutes.
Even then, if we use that as any kind of a gauge for how much time our presenters invested into their presentations.
Oh yeah, it's nuts.
The national conference, while it was 3 days long, and literally the training was probably, doing quick and dirty math in my head, hang on, maybe 22 hours of training. There were literally thousands of hours of preparation that went into those 22 hours.
Oh, I would be comfortable saying there's thousands of hours that went into building all those presentations and doing those trainings.
I've never really thought about it before, but you're gaining the insight of thousands of hours of preparation in that condensed amount of time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
That's so cool.
There's a lot that goes into this kind of stuff. It's not just slap it together.
Oh yeah. So then we ended day one with a 2-hour nuts and bolts training from Mr. Bob Snyder.
Yeah.
And as I was talking to Bob, so the focus of his content was on overcoming disbelief, right?
Mm-hmm.
On getting over the disbelief in ourselves, and he punctuated it with the story about the guy who ran the first 4-minute mile.
Oh yeah. What is that guy's name?
I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. I was hoping you would have it because I know that you've done good vibrations on him.
Well, it wasn't that guy that I did it on. I did it on a guy. Anyways, it was crap. What was that guy's name that set the record? The 4-minute mile.
Give me 1 second here. Roger Bannister.
Roger Bannister.
Roger Bannister. That was his name.
And now you got high school kids doing it, and it's totally because of the mental aspect.
Well, so then Bob was building into the story, and he just said, there were scientists at the time who theorized that it would be possible only under perfect conditions, and they had locations on the earth that would be the perfect condition to run in because of the gravity and blah blah blah. And then it was the weather, it was the wind, it was the humidity, it was
62 degrees outside, and there couldn't be any wind. And
there's Roger Bannister, who knew that it was possible, and so what he did was when he trained with 4 running partners. Each one of them would pace him for a quarter mile, and they would run with him for that quarter mile to keep him on pace.
Yep.
And when the day came that he was going to actually attempt the record, it was rainy, and the wind was blowing, and people thought that he was crazy. So he gets out there and he starts to run, and he's running with his running partners down the track, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And during the first quarter mile, he goes, "Why are we going so slow? I need to go faster. I need to go faster." He gets on to the second guy. He's thinking the same thing. "I need to go faster. I need to go faster." The third guy, "I need to go faster. I need to go faster." Each one of them held him back so that they knew that he would have the energy in reserve to handle the last quarter mile at the speed that he needed to go in order to set the record.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to conserve your energy. You can't just burn it out.
Exactly. So then he gets to the last quarter mile. And this is the point when he is let off the chain, and they just let him go full tilt.
Yeah.
And the stopwatch clicked. I think it was 3:58.3. I think was the
Was that
final.
what it was?
Yeah.
I thought it was in the 3:59.
Oh,
I thought
forgot.
it was less than a second.
You're right. It was 3:59 point something.
Yeah.
I forgot one of the criteria that the people had theorized was necessary was to have a crowd of 20,000 plus people.
Yep.
Like they needed that kind of energy.
Because they need the energy from the crowd to fuel this person. And
Yes.
they're all kind of like, well, hypothetically, all right, if we had to,
Right,
and they carry the one, and we need
carry the
we
one.
need 20,000
So-
people here to do this.
So then Roger Bannister did it to a crowd of, I think, 2,000 people were there.
Yeah,
total.
yeah.
And everybody was in complete disbelief when they posted his time at the end of his mile, that he had cracked the 4-minute mile. He did not wait for perfection. He accepted progress. He accepted going faster and perfecting his craft along the way, rather than waiting for that perfect moment and then going for it.
Oh, yeah.
And so what Bob really highlighted for us is that first, if we wait for the perfect conditions, we will never succeed.
It's true.
We'll be waiting forever.
It's true.
And second was that as soon as Roger Bannister cracked the 4-minute mile, then I think there were 15 other people that did it within a year. One of them, being one of his training partners, did it, I think, a month later.
Yeah.
Did the same thing with him.
The mentality of, well, shoot, you don't need 20,000 people.
Right.
You don't need perfect conditions.
Right.
You don't need all this stuff.
Right. And now,
and I think the scientists said the human heart would explode. Or
something
at one
along
point,
those
too.
lines too.
Yeah, and once that didn't happen, people were like, "Oh my
Right.
gosh, this is possible."
It's possible. It's achievable by somebody like Roger Bannister, who was not the world's fastest man.
Right.
In fact, in the Olympics, I think he took 5th place or something like that. I mean, he wasn't even.
Yeah.
So for Roger Bannister to go out there and do it just proved that it was a mental game before it was a physical game.
Dude, I mean, I know this analogy, this might be outside of a lot of people. Most people probably don't follow supercross, like dirt bike racing.
Right.
But, James Stewart has a podcast. He's kind of a legend in the sport. And he pegs the winners a lot of the time before the race happens, because he's down there, he's talking to people or whatever, or he's in close proximity to these people, and he
Right.
can tell by the mentality, just the literal, like, where they're at mentally. And he talks about that all the time, how mental this sport is. The sport of racing is so mental, because and if this guy mentally beats you, you think that you are second place to him.
Right.
And then
then all of a sudden
nuts
you
how
make it happen.
how much it plays out
Yeah.
after
Yep.
that. Anyways, so I found that really fascinating, but it's all mental.
It is. It's that cycle of disbelief. And when you counter the cycle of disbelief, when you get to a point where you know you can do it, the only thing that's left to do is the work. And
Yeah.
that's the easiest part.
Yep.
It was funny. I'll never forget when I showed you that one video of AJ wrestling my son.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you actually pointed to it and you said, that's the moment that the kid he was wrestling stopped believing that he could win.
It's precisely the moment that AJ
Yeah.
won the match, right? And for those of you obviously haven't seen this video, but like they're wrestling, and AJ's struggling to get him into the positions he wants to get him into, and then the ref resets them, right? And so in high school wrestling, and then AJ's like down on all fours, the guy's behind him, and AJ just explodes out of it and flips on him. And it was that explosion of energy. I watched the other kid's entire energy shift to like, oh crap, this kid's got me, because he's got more energy than I do. And AJ, I think at the time, didn't you say that he was struggling, like he was winded, and you've told him that you gotta explode out of those things, man. You gotta, because mentally it's gonna beat him.
Yep.
And it did. It was so evident. It was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to help him to know that you have to beat your opponent mentally first.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I'll have my boys do that wrestle is they will bounce in between rounds.
Yeah,
They'll bounce from foot to foot.
you were telling me about this, and I was like, that is brilliant. I mean, this concept, I see it a lot in the UFC too.
Right.
Because I would say I loosely follow fighting in the UFC and stuff.
Yeah.
But you see these guys that, I mean, you know, Conor McGregor, right? He's beating his opponents before he gets in the ring because of the trash talk and the insane confidence that he's walking into the ring with. People, it's intimidating, and people go, "Oh crap, this guy is better than I am." When in reality, that might not be the case.
Right.
And so, you know, it's just
Conor McGregor. That guy is like the king of trash talk.
Oh, big time.
Don't listen to him unless you are very conditioned to the way that somebody from the UK
to an Irish fighter. I mean, right? Like, yeah.
All right. So going back though to Bob Snyder's training, he spent 2 hours breaking down how the opportunity for success inside of Renatus begins in our minds. Yeah. And if we don't break that cycle of disbelief, then we'll get stuck. We'll get stuck just circling the toilet bowl rather than upcycling in our lives.
Yep.
And he went through such a transitional and such a powerful training that it caught my attention. I've worked with Bob for 11 years, and I've heard him train, I can't even tell you how many times.
Yeah.
And I've heard him talk about his trainings, and I've seen him prepare, and I've seen him all of these things. And this training was the best training I think I have ever seen.
Yeah.
He just gave it his all. And you could feel the energy. I don't know that the video will ever truly produce the emotion that was in the room as he was training. But it was amazing.
It won't. It won't. The video is not going to do it justice to what it was. If you were there, you really know and understand. If not, it's just not gonna.
Yeah.
Represent it well.
Dr. Carrie Skurdla put, I loved that training. I did too. It was truly.
But I would say the training that I liked the most was the last day that he.
Oh
did.
yeah.
That very the last speech we had of the whole national. That was the shake it off, the step up, shake it off.
So let's get there in just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Let's get there in 1 minute. It was really interesting to me when I talked with Bob after his training was done. He and I spent just a couple of minutes kind of debriefing over the day and everything. And he said, "Jay, I didn't get to almost half my content." And I was just like, "See, that right there is what a prepared presenter looks like."
That is exactly what it looks like. Yeah.
It also plays into what he may be sharing at the regional. So, just a little heads up there.
He's got some gems. So
for real, yeah. So then we go on to Friday's trainings, and man, let me see here real quick. We also had Troy Dunn come out, and he had a pretty fun. Yeah, he had a good time with people.
Came out, and it was funny because I was in the back with the headset and controlling, or at least having people attempting to control, having people, having the lights come up and get, and I'm listening to the AV guys and camera 1 is go and camera 2 because he's coming out into the audience and what he
was all over the place.
It throws them because they're like, oh crap, like we gotta get that mic going and it was chaos back there, but they handled it really well.
They did so good that you couldn't even tell.
You couldn't tell.
Yes.
You couldn't tell. They did a phenomenal job.
They did. So on Friday morning, we get started, and we had Mark Kohler come out and do a nice training, and then Nancy Rowe came out. And her training left me going, oh my gosh, this is so good. She talked about attending the events that we need to attend and using the time that we have to go out there and actually build for events. Rather than attending every event, we need to attend the events that are the most useful and then build for those events.
Big time.
And man, she killed it.
She did. It was one of those really like on point trainings.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
And I think that there's a bit of that going on where people get too caught up in, I want to go to that event, and I want to go to this event. No, this one's going on over here.
We got stuck in that mentality of either you need the event or the event needs you.
Yeah, and it's important to be, at your, Thursday night presentation or whatever, especially bringing guests down.
Right.
You got to be there. Attendance is huge, and if you're a leader, attendance to your own meetings is huge because people are going to take license from what you do, and so if you don't come to those events or you cut out early or you show up late, all of your people are going to see that, and they're basically going to rise. What did you say? Rise to
your lowest commitment.
To your lowest commitment. Exactly. And so, anyways, I thought that Nancy's presentation was phenomenal.
It was.
Because it was.
Just
instead of, when I keep coming back to dirt bikes, right? But if you don't have the right tire, you're gonna expend so much energy out on the track if you've got the wrong tire, slipping and sliding around, right? And using all that horsepower in an inefficient way.
Well, okay, let's pull it back even a little bit differently for you in dirt bikes.
Yes.
It's like when you take a big old powerful dirt bike up a little trail.
Yeah.
You get all the horsepower in the world, but it's going to wear you out real quick.
Exactly.
Sometimes you need that little bike that maybe doesn't have as much horsepower, but will still get you up the trail.
That's actually my preference. Is I got a little bike, and that's what I trail ride on.
Right. I know.
It's so maneuverable, and so I don't waste any energy.
Right.
I go where I need to go, and with all the fun I want to have.
There you go.
And I'm not. Yeah. Wasting energy.
So
cool.
yeah, I loved Nancy's training.
Yeah.
She did such a good job.
She did.
And she really called everybody's attention to attending the most effective events for building our business.
Yes.
And that, event attendance is good, but effective event attendance is better.
100%.
So then we had Bob Snyder come back out, and he talked about the new 5-star winner circle. He talked about the new updates there. We don't have time to get into that.
No, we don't.
And maybe what I'll do is I'll ask Bob to kind of go over it on the next Founders Live.
Yeah, that'd probably be good.
Probably talk about that.
Well, he did he did a little bit of that on this last one.
Did he?
I can't remember.
See, I wasn't.
Yeah, I can't remember He did talk about the 5-star winner circle though on that.
Good. Did he also talk about the update to the Everest Real Estate Conference?
I don't remember. It's all running together between meetings and what what's actually been announced.
Right.
So
then we had Woody Woodward come out, and he did his presentation on presentations, and I thought it was incredible because he walked off the stage after an hour, after 60 minutes. He walked off the stage, and everybody was like, "Oh, that was the end." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back on the stage and he said, "Okay, how many of you thought that was a horrible ending?" And everybody's like, "Oh, that was terrible." And he goes, "Let me show you exactly why."
Yeah.
And then he walked through how to be an effective presenter.
Yeah.
And that was incredible because he took his presentation and he dissected how he had created his presentation and then showed everybody, this is how you be a more effective presenter.
It was
super cool.
And it was fun to hear his story too.
Oh yeah.
Him, go back to 2008 with all the credit cards and everything that he held up.
And when he holds that whole thing up, it's like
37 cards and it's like anyways.
That was incredible.
That was cool.
And then we had the introduction of the new Genius in 21 Days program.
Yeah, that's been sweet.
Man, so inside of the Essentials already, everybody who had access to the Essentials now has access to a 3-hour class in the Essentials called Be a Genius?
Be a Genius.
Be a Genius.
Yep.
And then anybody who has the Essentials has the opportunity to then upgrade into the Genius in 21 Days program.
Yeah.
And then, man, I've been telling everybody for a long time, if you don't come to the National, then you're not going to be able to take advantage of the National. Well, that seems like a kind of redundant statement, but this is one of the reasons why. Yeah. At the National Conference, not only was there a discounted price offered for all attendants or all National Conference attendees, but then there were bonuses stacked on top of that regarding having one-on-one time with the creator of the Genius in 21 Day program, Cosmo Intermite.
Yep.
But then also being able to take advantage of a 5-week training that he put together in addition to that. Just incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. And, there were others too that presenters.
Well,
I'm sure we'll get there. I don't want to get too.
We're getting there. So then, of course, Friday evening, we have the incredible awards banquet. And I thought we did good. We got out of there by 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was pretty good actually. Like I told the team in the back, that we're not Renatus home team.
Right. The Davis Conference Center staff.
Yeah, like, hey, expect 2 a.m.
Yep.
And if we can get out that before then, that'd be awesome. And we did, and I was happy about that.
Yeah, me too.
we want people
But
to get to sleep. And
we still had people that were, I mean, it was kind of funny because we did the Walk of Fame, the 1-star, 3-star, 5-star Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
And we had all the 1-stars get up. And that
Yep.
actually went relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we may actually get out of here at a good time. And then we had the 3-stars go up. And, the Walk of Fame is one of those emotional moments where people are celebrated for the progress they've made in their own business and their own lives.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then Bob called for the 5-star Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
Whoosh, the whole room stands up.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, buddy, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is why we come together, to celebrate these moments.
Yeah.
And it took a little while to get through that section, but it was, I mean, by the end of it, I heard people saying, my belief has increased. They didn't say it quite like that, but they said, look at what these other people are creating in their lives. I can do that too.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it changes everything. It changes that mental. We're talking about in racing. And fighting and all that stuff. It changes that mental. Like,
yes.
I can't do this. I'm not that person. That person must be special.
Right.
To holy crap, they're just a person, and I can do this too. They're just like me. There's nothing stopping me from doing this.
It's like when Bob Snyder talks about how he had that original shift in his mind, where he said, "Oh yeah, those people are able to attain wealth, but not me.
Yeah.
But not me. But not me." And then he read the book Think and Grow Rich, and he asked the question, "Why not me?"
Yeah. Why not?
And that's what changed for him, his first step in changing his own cycle of disbelief. And I heard so many people who had the same kind of aha moment during the banquet where they said, why not me?
Yeah.
Next year, I will be part of the 5-star group. Next year, I will be part of the 10K in a month group. Next year, I will be on the stage as a Spartan. Next year, I will be there with the Real Estate in Action Award. We had over 700 recognitions during the award ceremony.
That's
for
nuts.
People that have just made those foundational changes in their lives.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, was incredible.
Yeah.
So Lisa Ginder's on here, and she says that was my first live nationals, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I thought it was,
Yeah,
it was pretty funny. So my daughter got a chance to go to Chicago with my wife, who's an instructor, for an intensive there, and she met Lisa.
Uh-huh.
And she calls Lisa Matt's biggest fan. and so when Lisa came to Utah to meet you for the very first time face to face, she wanted me to record that encounter so that I could show her.
Oh gosh.
And what Lisa didn't know is that actually happened on my daughter's birthday. And so I got to show her on her birthday, the encounter, the two of you meet. Anyway, it was pretty awesome.
That's cool. It was really fun to meet Lisa face to face for the first time. We've talked and known each other for 2.5 or something years. Something like that, and it was way
Lisa
cool.
Lisa put out here that next year she'll be walking the 5-star and do a 10K in a month.
That's right. That's
So,
right. I'm
that's
gonna
pretty awesome.
hold you to it, Lisa.
I'm telling you, it's that
see
cycle of disbelief.
But that's the difference maker right there.
Right.
And
that's why attending the national conference can be so powerful.
that's what it was for me. It was, a matter of fact, it was coming down and seeing John O'Neill and seeing the money he was making, and I was like, oh my gosh, why am I not doing this? Why am I?
Right.
Why, what?
Yeah.
What am I I'm missing out? What am I doing? And then I got to work.
Yeah. Booyah.
And then I was up on that stage getting my 10K in a month.
I'm telling you.
So.
And that is a transformational moment.
Yeah, it was huge.
And being able to celebrate those people that have done that is so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. It just, I loved it. And we could talk all day about why the awards ceremony, why the awards banquet was so transformational.
Yeah.
But if you were there, if any of you were there, you felt it. And if you weren't there, then I would encourage you to talk to those people that were there, and I would encourage you to make plans right now to be to the next one. So, and I've actually, that's funny. I've got the dates around here somewhere. Maybe by the end of this call, I could come up with the dates of when the next national is going to be. All right. Not saying anything right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
But,
anyways.
So on Saturday, let's move forward. Saturday morning, we start with Eric Counts, came out and talked about funding. And then we had the 5-star winner circle come out and do a panel discussion. Now, panel discussions,
I loved that discussion.
They can be a wild card, right?
Yeah.
You open up the Q&A to the audience and give them an opportunity to come up and to talk directly to the panel.
Yeah.
And I think next year, if we do it like this again, I don't know if we will, but if we do, then I may interject and moderate a little bit more.
Well, yeah. We had just, especially like people don't know to get right up to the mic.
Well, that
and ask a question.
And sometimes the question would get answered a couple of times by different people,
yeah,
or they would
by
get
the
a little
time they
lost
get up
in
there,
their story,
or they got lost in the question a little bit, like that.
But there were moments of absolute gold that came out of that conversation.
That's the way I feel about it. I came away from that session and I was like, that was phenomenal.
Oh my goodness.
That was so good.
I wanted it to go longer.
Yeah, I wanted to hear more from Zach Ullman, particularly the stuff that he was dropping, his knowledge, man.
Zach,
it was good stuff.
Umair and Yas,
they did
great.
I couldn't hear Steve in the back of the room. That was the problem because the mic was down too.
He did. He held it low and he talks kind of quietly.
Yeah, it was hard to hear. So I was kind of bummed because I really wanted to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, he was amazing. So then after the 5-star winner circle, we had Ron Williams come out and talk about his Champion for Life program, which is awesome. And then Dino Watt came out. And Dino, oh my goodness, I love that guy.
Yeah, that guy
he is
one of a
phenomenal.
kind, 1 in a million.
Oh yeah. So our introduction to Dino happened last year. I think it was 2021. Woody did a special event at his house in Florida. Do you remember this?
No.
And
no.
Woody,
I wasn't there.
Well, I wasn't there either, but Woody invited Dino to come and do one of his sessions. Yeah. And so he gets everything set up. Day of the event, Woody is sicker than a dog. And he can't actually present at his own event. So
that was Dino
to come out, and Dino ends up hosting this thing basically for 3 days for Woody.
Unreal.
And that's how I got introduced to Dino. And man, am I so grateful for that fortuitous moment when Woody, I mean, I'd never want somebody to get sick, but man, I'm glad that Woody got sick so that Dino would come out so that we could meet him.
Yeah.
And Dino did a training on why, on understanding our why and being able to then enlarge our why.
Yeah.
We've had so many people talk about when your why is great enough, the how becomes easy, or you can overcome any how, right? We've had people come out and talk about how their why is not the destination, but it's the journey, and how to use that to fuel them day after day after day. And so when Dino comes out and he starts to talk about how we can understand our why better and then harness it as a tool to then supercharge our business.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, like if you have that drive, that passion, that's what it is, right? Like that's where you're not going to work a day in your life if you love what you do, kind of thing.
Yes.
Right? Like you've got that drive and that passion. You're loving it. And anyways, it's fun to see. And it's everything to success, I believe. I mean, after all those good vibrations I've done.
Yes.
It's their why every time. It's this.
Well, and again, that's just one more factor of that mental battle that you're playing. Yeah,
totally.
Right? If you focus on your why will consume your vision so that the how becomes secondary.
And
to
their
the
why wouldn't let them give up. You know, in the difficult times when people are like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard, or I'm not going to make it. It's their why that they can't, even if they want to, they can't give up on their why, like on a deep level, and they keep going, and they end up succeeding and end up in a story of good vibrations. So
Daniel Park wrote, passion for cha-cha-cha.
yeah, passion for, is that what he has passion for, is the cha-cha-cha?
No. Do you remember kidding. Dino's training
anyway. Yeah, he got us all up. And
he got us all dancing.
Yeah.
All right, so then
I just didn't know if Daniel Clark was passionate about it.
Maybe Daniel's a dancer at heart.
Maybe that's what's
and that's
going
his
on.
why. He just wants more time to dance.
That could be it.
Life is all about the dance.
The dance. That's right.
So then we had Scott come out, Scott Rowe, and he was talking about leading versus managing.
Yeah.
And the information that he provided about how to be an effective leader was incredible. And then we followed that training with Leading Like Leonidas by Umair and Yeshawk.
Oh, yeah.
And man, did they ever remove any doubt, if there was any, on why they deserve to be part of the 5-star winner circle.
I completely agree.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah. They're good people. On just such a basic level, like getting to know them and stuff. They're such good people, but it's just hardworking and in my opinion, all of the ingredients that are necessary for success are in in that couple.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Amen to that. Completely agree. And then we get to the last training of the conference where Bob Snyder comes up. Now, go ahead. You can tell a little bit about his story.
Well, so he talked about that. Here he told that story about the donkey, right? The donkey that gets stuck in the well, and the farmer knows that this there's no way to get him out. He's going to die down there, and so they start getting dirt. They get wheelbarrows full of dirt, and they're shoveling it down there, right, to fill in the well. And this unfortunate situation has happened, but the donkey keeps shaking the dirt off, and then steps up. And then they throw more dirt down there, and the donkey shakes it off and steps up. And before you know it, the well is full of dirt, and the donkey is standing on top of it. And I was like, that is such a good analogy for life, right? Like, you just have, I mean, that donkey, that farmer for sure is looking at the donkey going, it's over. This is done. There's no way out of this, right? And the donkey could have been thinking that too, right? But one step at a time. It's one chop of the axe to cut the redwood tree down, right? And just keeps shaking it off and stepping up. And before you know it, out of the well.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved that analogy.
And it's all about the why.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about the how, it's about the why.
That's right.
The donkey's going to survive.
Your why keeps you shaking it off and stepping up. And that donkey wasn't done living.
That's right.
So
I loved that analogy, and I loved how Bob really ended by basically letting everybody know that our future's so bright that you gotta wear shades.
Yeah, those shades were awesome. I've seen them all over and seen them in pictures and stuff. And I definitely I've got a few, and I love them. My kids have got them. They love them. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Nice. I can't even express fully not only my appreciation for the home team who served so diligently during the national conference, but also the PAC members, the pit team members, the different attendees that offered to help, volunteered, who stepped up when there was any kind of need at all, and ultimately Mr. Bob Snyder, who committed so much time, money, energy, everything into making sure that the national conference would be transformational. And once again, I only heard those comments from people, man, if I had known, I would have invited more people. I heard them again. It was like,
what a terrible, terrible thing to go through. Like, I felt that way my first national. Like, man, I had no idea what this was. I should have brought more people to it. You know, I should have pushed harder. And it's a real, the regret is real. It's no joke.
It is. Once, so Lisa put a comment on here. She said, I found out what it meant to have Renatus go from your head to your heart.
Boom, baby.
Such an awesome
That's
feeling.
what I'm talking about. Right? And she's been in Renatus for almost 3 years at this point, right? And so, or maybe even longer. Maybe she can correct me, because I don't remember if she missed her first nationals or just she started after the 20, what would it have been, 19 nationals? I don't remember.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's just, it goes to show that feeling cannot be produced just anywhere.
No.
And that once you've had it, that's a feeling that's hard to describe, but it's infectious. It's easy to share.
It is. That's a good way to put it.
Even though it's hard to describe. And so once you've got it, that's when you start to look around and go, everybody needs this.
Yeah.
They need to know that they can do more, become more in their own lives, and go out there and create a greater level of success and accomplishment than what they're currently doing. I mean, so many people find themselves frustrated, and they think, oh, I have to go back to work on Monday, or I'm just not a fan of my own life. And I hear so many people in Renatus that love their lives, that love who they are and who they are creating themselves to become.
Yeah.
That are sharpening the blade rather than being ground down.
And I think, at least as I see it, what ends up happening is it's because they are taking action towards the things that they want in their life. It's not so much like, I don't see a lot of, oh man, I just wish that I could like relax more, or
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like take more
right.
time and just kind of chill.
Yep.
Because what I see is people work on themselves and then work harder at their goals and their dreams because they work on themselves, and then they do more and more real estate, and the more real estate they do, they're like, why not dial this up to 12? And and then
because they realize the more they do, the more good they can put into the world.
Yeah, and that's the kind of cool realization that I see a lot of people go through, and so it's fun. Anyways,
I love it.
Living their best life, right? Living their best selves.
Yes.
So,
well, and one of my takeaways, one of the things that I loved was I thought of this analogy. So I went on vacation recently down to Mexico, and I have become a guacamole snob. Like I love
now you know guacamole. What the good stuff is like.
Oh my gosh. When you have fresh guacamole made at the table, it changes you. Right?
Yeah,
it just changes all of your appreciation of guacamole. So I'm down in Mexico, right? And they made me this bowl they took cheese and melted it into a bowl and then filled it with fresh guacamole. It was
I couldn't figure out. Yeah, it was amazing. I just couldn't figure out what they were doing with it. I didn't know it was cheese. I didn't know
yes.
It was just all stuff that was in a bowl, and I was like, "Jeez, this is good."
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was the best guacamole I've ever eaten.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. And I'll never go back to the restaurant because I realized this truth, and that is, I had a very different expectation of how a waiter would treat me, because I like people treating me well, and then I reward them for that.
Yep.
And I had to go find the waiter to order. I had to then go find the waiter in order to find out where my food was or get more water, or then go find him again when I wanted to pay. And then when his card reader wasn't working right, he blamed me instead of.
Oh.
And then
that was one of the nights I wasn't there.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. You had taken off at that point.
Yeah. But the guac was amazing.
The guac was amazing.
Yeah, I showed up and then took off.
This is the realization that I had. The worst meal in the world can be overcome by the best waiter. You have a great waiter, even if you've had a terrible meal, you still walk out of there going, yeah, the food wasn't great, but man, that waiter was amazing, and I'll totally go back and give him another try.
Totally true.
But the best food in the world cannot overcome the worst waiter.
Oh, it's Jay. I mean, I'm not going to get too specific, but one of the leaders retreats that we went on, we went through this with the service at the hotel not being that great.
Right.
But the views were the most beautiful, in my humble estimation, of any of them I've been to. It was beautiful. The most beautiful property. And I want to go back there, but I never will.
Right.
We never will.
Right.
Because of the service that we experienced.
So the takeaway there is that Renatus has provided the best meal in the world.
Yeah.
And now we need all of our people to go out there and be excited, enthused, and people that are no longer just thinking that Renatus is a good idea, but now feeling it in their heart.
Yeah.
To go out there and be the waiter for Renatus and to share the world's best meal and with the world's best waiter.
I love it.
And so I loved it. And the more I think about it, the more I love it. And I just think that is how I feel walking away from the Nationals, is now I am encouraged to be the world's best waiter.
So now think about this. If you're an ICM, think about the experience that somebody you're bringing on or introducing to Renatus is going to have. What does that first experience look like with Renatus? What is your second interaction with this person going to look like and feel like from their perspective?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Make it good.
The national
we
conference.
got some good guac over here.
We got the best guac.
Yeah.
We make it tableside, fresh, a little bit of lime, a little bit of salt.
That's
it is
right.
It's good stuff. But I tell you what, the energy that I have felt since the national conference from our family, from our community, and the excitement that I've seen, and even Lisa put on here, it totally changed me. I've changed all my ads, and I have 5 people coming to meetings this week.
What? Look at that right there.
Yeah, she's
Look
totally
at that.
jacked.
How awesome is that?
When you put your heart and enthusiasm into what you're doing, other people are attracted to it.
This is the intangible shift that I've been talking about on this podcast forever.
Yes.
About nationals.
Yep.
I've been talking about the intangible, and Lisa's talking about it right now.
Yes, and I love that we have such direct examples that can say, from the national conference, I changed this, and this is the result.
Yeah.
And so Lisa, I can't wait to see the amount of crazy success and progress that you're going to make in your business and life after
I
this.
can't wait to
It's gonna be amazing.
personally hand her that 10K medallion.
Yes.
10K in a month medallion.
Why stop at 10? Lisa, let's go for 20 or
That's
30.
right. Go
Let's
for 20.
wild.
Go for 20.
Go for gold, baby.
That's right.
Go for gold.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Nate's got a goal for $1 million in a year or whatever.
Yeah.
So why not shoot for that?
Yeah, why not?
Start with the 10K a month. We'll get there. Baby
Let's
steps,
start
but
10.
Yeah.
I like how Johnny D talks
We'll
about
work it
that
out.
in his class. First you got to become a 100-aire, and then a 1,000-aire,
Yep.
and then a 10,000-aire before you become, a millionaire.
Yeah, buddy.
Anyway, I appreciate everybody who participated in the national conference and who's been supporting us in the Renatus J.A.M. Happy anniversary, 2 years, buddy. I can't
Yeah.
believe that we've already been. I can't believe
Should've had
it's
a
been 2
cake.
years.
I could really go for some cake right now.
That was Andrew's job. He was supposed to bring the cake. You had one
Oh, is
job
that
to
what it
do,
was? Is that what
Andrew.
it was?
No, I want to give a shout out to Andrew, who's been producing this for us as well. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Remember, it's because of the people who associate with us that make Renatus truly rock. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday. Renatus rocks. Sweet.
That was great.